In the last few years, artificial intelligence arrived in schools faster than any tool on record. It blew past the smartboards, the one-to-one laptop rollouts, and the learning management systems nobody fully learned. Walk into almost any staff room today, and you will hear the same quiet admission. Teachers are improvising. The students already use it. Administrators expect it. But the people responsible for guiding young minds are navigating without a map. But feeling unprepared is perfectly normal right now. Everyone feels that way, including the experts on stage. The real danger is what you do with that feeling. When faced with something this fast and this capable, the temptation is to surrender your agency to the machine. That surrender usually happens in 3 invisible ways. The first is passive use. This is when a teacher treats the model like a vending machine. You type in a request for a rubric or a chapter summary, a polished answer drops out, and you move on. The output arrives in seconds, so it feels productive. But a first draft from a generic prompt is almost always generic. It hedges, it pads, it misses the context of your specific students and your unique voice. The second trap goes a step further. Over-reliance happens when you start outsourcing the parts of the job that require real human sensitivity. You let the AI write the delicate parent email or grade the complex student essays. Each handoff saves a little time, but stacked together, they carry a steep cognitive cost. Skill comes from doing the hard thing repeatedly. When you stop wrestling with the material yourself, your professional judgment slowly hollows out. This flowchart illustrates the third failure, ignoring formation. The top pathway generates an essay, but bypasses the student's mind. The student never builds the cognitive capacity that writing develops. The teacher then grades this output, certifying work they didn't do and skills they never acquired. These 3 failures all look like efficiency in the moment. In reality, they are quietly automating away the exact friction required for real learning. The teachers who avoid these traps adopt a completely different mindset. They treat the AI as a rigorous thinking partner they argue with, rather than a shortcut they blindly obey. This starts with the habit of Socratic dialogue. Instead of typing a single search bar-style query, you ask a question, listen to the answer, and then ask a sharper follow-up question. You steer a conversation. Consider a middle school science teacher planning a unit. Instead of accepting the first generic output, she argues the plan into shape. She tells the model about her actual class, the kid who finishes early, the 3 who need extra scaffolding, and forces the AI to adapt the lesson to those highly specific realities. The second habit is using the model as a sparring partner. You write the assessment, the policy, or the email yourself. Then you hand it to the machine with a strict instruction: attack this work and find the weak spots. An English teacher used this tactic to test his new essay prompt. He told the AI to act like a lazy student trying to cut corners. It produced a passing essay in under a minute. The sparring partner exposed the flaw instantly, prompting him to redesign the assignment to require an in-class oral defense. The third habit draws a hard boundary. You have to protect deep work by establishing clear, unplugged spaces where technology is entirely banned. When an elementary teacher noticed her students' digital journals becoming thin and lifeless, she moved the exercise back to pen and paper for 10 quiet minutes a day. The handwritten pages got messier, but the words were far more honest. She removed the device to restore the human connection. Together, these 3 habits deliberately reintroduce friction into the classroom. The machine does the heavy lifting on drafts, but the locus of agency remains firmly with the teacher. For Christian educators, these practices are direct expressions of stewardship. Think of the parable of the talents. The master gives, the servant is accountable, and the failure isn't recklessness, it's burying the gift out of fear. This capability landed in your hands, and you are responsible for what you do with it. The temptation of instant output directly challenges the biblical mandate of diligence. Proverbs warns against the hasty path. The tool can carry the load, and it can save you time, but you still carry the responsibility for the final work. Romans 12:2 calls us to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That renewal is a process of active struggle, reflection, and use. Look at the left side. If all the activity lines are routed to an external tool, the internal work stops. You cannot have a renewed mind if you have an outsourced mind. The same truth governs our students. When a machine does the thinking, the growth stops and the mind goes dark. We owe them the struggle and reflection required to keep that internal loop pulsing. For the Christian teacher, mastering these tools while fiercely guarding unplugged spaces honors the divine calling of human formation. It is work offered back to the Creator. You don't build these boundaries with massive, vague resolutions that fail by week 2. Mastery comes from small, daily habit replacements tied to the work you already do. In week 1, pick one weekly task and commit to planning it through Socratic dialogue. In week 2, write your materials first, then instruct the model to attack them. By week 3, mandate one fully analog space where devices disappear completely. Before you touch any interface, run this rapid 3-question check. First, am I running a conversation or just grabbing an answer? Second, am I testing my thinking or outsourcing it? And third, is this a moment that needs to stay human? These models are permanently on your desk. The decision to engage with them has already been made for you. Your trajectory as an educator depends entirely on your next move. You can choose the passive shortcut and slowly fade, or you can choose the deeply human struggle and become a sharper thinker because of it.